Hi everyone, it's Oscar and welcome back to Geoguessr Explained. Today we're doing some more of the Geoguessr play along. The links to play today's games and tomorrow's games are in the description, so if you want to see yourself inside the results, then go ahead and play those, and that will also help you to learn. So let's get into the first game here, which is Diverse World, no moving, and see what we've got. So this one is a pretty straightforward round, especially because we have so much language, but let's dive into it quickly here. So first off, we have the Chinese language. This is the most obvious clue. We also have this reflector, which is orange for the right hand side, and this is a very like Asian bollard type of thing. You see these ones in Taiwan, in Japan, and in Korea. Also, this kilometer marker is very Taiwanese. It's the green, and Taiwan uses a lot of green signage. Will we see another piece of green signage? We see some blue ones here, but yeah, there's a big green sign in the background there. Taiwan is also one of the only countries in Asia to use double yellow lines in the center of the road. They often have the bonnet or the hood of the car showing on the right-hand drive, and yeah, that's the best way to distinguish it from like Korea, because we're right-hand drive and Generation 4 camera. Just given the fact that we have mountains both sides of us here, we should be somewhere like in the center of the country. That's pretty obvious. I'm not really sure which highway it exactly would be, but I might just go over here. And where will we be? Okay, we're on the right stretch of road essentially, so that's a pretty good start to the round. That's one country street. All right, next one here. This is also not too hard for the country. Let's run through it. So we're driving right hand side of the road here. We have a blackish number plate here. So it looks kind of white. We've got a white smudge here and a white smudge here, but a black smudge in the middle. And the way the license plate blurring goes on Geoguessr, the Argentinian plate looks like it has kind of a black dot or a black smudge in the middle of it. And so this should be an Argentinian plate. In Uruguay, you would just have white plates, whereas Argentina has a combination of white and black ones. So yeah, these are two more Argentinian plates here, except neither of these are blurred. So yeah, you can see that's kind of what I'm talking about with the black kind of section in the middle there. Also, we have these Argentinian unique poles, which are the A shape with this kind of ridge between them. Yeah, just Argentinian, and then the whole vibes definitely fit for Argentina as well. We have some wooden poles, just kind of like in the American style of pole top. Yeah, that's also Argentinian. Not to mention the black Google car here. I've left the Google car hiding script off today, so we'll take a look a bit at the Google car in this one. But okay, this feels like it shouldn't be too far south to me. I could say around Cordoba is probably the best bet. Could even be a bit further north. Could be a bit further south as well. Not really sure exactly how I feel. I'm not the best at Argentina region guessing. But I feel like this is kind of a reasonable guess. Just going in the lake here to kind of absorb this whole region feels like a decent option to me, actually. And yeah, it's just north of the lake there. So on the way to San Miguel. So not a bad score. 4.2 is pretty good. All right, next one here. And we are looking at a fairly simple one again here, I would say. This one actually is a bit tougher. So let's run through it. So we have the white Google car, that would definitely help out. We have these deep ditches, which are certainly more some countries than others, but I would say they're quite common in Southeast Asia and in South America. We've got concrete poles here, that's for sure. We don't really have a good view of any of them except for this one. I would say in this country, having like a sticker on the pole like this is quite common, although you can obviously see that in many other countries as well. Okay, this is also quite a typical pole for this country when we have these two juts. I feel like there is a third jut, maybe like hidden, going another direction. But yeah, these two juts are very, very common in this country. Oftentimes you'll have a third one, though we don't see any here. And the third big thing in this round is the tricycle. So this tricycle, I would say, is very much more common in Peru than anywhere else. So we should be in Peru here. And that's the main thing that's given me Peru, honestly. If we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them with these concrete poles with a sticker that's like just kind of a normal round pole and this kind of brick architecture, this will just be Peru, I'm pretty sure. And so this pole top here is also quite Peruvian. You see that every now and again. And yeah, that's about it. I feel like the tricycles are more common in the north of Peru, but I'm not really sure. Like, it's fairly green here, but it's not super green, so I'm not really sure where is actually best to click. Maybe like this town here could work. It shouldn't be with the hills Iquitos, which often has these tricycles, but Iquitos is much more flat, at least as far as I remember, so yeah, it shouldn't be there. But anyway, it could be anywhere in this kind of green section of the country. I'll go there, but yeah, I guess with mountains, that direction certainly could fit here. So let's give that a go. And it was actually in that town. Very nice indeed. So that is, add that to the insane guesses for Geoguessr Explained, but yeah, it's a really nice one. Yeah, angles of the mountain definitely fit. I kind of had a good feeling when I clicked it, but yeah, this kind of region tends to have a lot of those tricycles, which I think is the big clue there. All right, next one here, and we are looking at a fairly straightforward round again here, and actually this one has a good meta for you guys to remember, so pay attention. All right, so we got this white Google car here now. I kind of wish I knew this kind of stuff earlier, but this white Google car comes up a whole bunch in Geoguessr. But when you can see this black ridge, like a bit of the window here, that with like this amount of white is very common for Chile. Chile is the country where you'll see that glitch the most often. So if you have it without the black bit, then obviously that's quite common in Bolivia and Peru. But yeah, with this, then like it should be somewhere in Chile, I imagine. Also, we have all white road lines. Obviously, Chile either uses all whites or all yellows. Normally all whites, and so that definitely checks out for Chile here. We have Chilean poles with the like groove in the middle and that are made of concrete. And the big thing here is that we have these pine forests. Now, we all know, or like many of us would know, about the pine forest kind of region around Mount Gambier. That's where they're most commonly found in Australia. Well, in Chile, they're most commonly found around Concepcion. So that's really where I think we are here. This is a fairly flat ground, actually, for Chilean standards, but we do have mountains east there. So yeah, it could certainly be somewhere around here. Yeah, I don't know. It's just going to be somewhere in this kind of region here near Concepcion. Now, it could be 50 kilometers north or south, but I'm really feeling good about somewhere in the Concepcion area with this many pines. So that's a meta that I've probably known for like 2 years, and it really does never like fail you. Also, we have the sun to the north here, so it should be southern hemisphere. We have a flat signpost, which is fairly Chilean as well. And that's about it. So let's guess here and see if we are indeed correct. And we were indeed correct. It was Concepcion area, so another nice score. So this one's turning into a good seed. Not the best Argentina, but apart from that, very good. Okay, next one here. We are obviously somewhere in South Africa. Yellow outside lines, white center lines. This kind of old style pole with all the nibs on it. This kind of hilly landscape and these place names, MR. Place name as well. Now, I believe this one is actually kind of easier than I thought. We have these smudges on the lens. I think that is something, but looking at this pole here, we have this kind of like these two knobs at the end of like a triangle. Now, the smaller triangle we all know is the Western Cape triangle, but this one I think is the Eastern Cape, one with two knobs on it. So I think this should be somewhere in Eastern Cape. So now that I know that, I might take a look, because we're on a good score already, see if I can see these places quite easily. So one's Balfour and one's Catberg. I do not see either of them. I would expect them to kind of be in this region over here. So let's zoom in once more and see if they come up here. Doesn't look like they will. So I think I would just go over here. Now, the other possibility is that I'm misremembering, and these are KwaZulu-Natal poles. But I would say with this, like, these mountains are very tall. So I know, I would say that this is going to be somewhere over here. Now, I will check this side of the border as well quickly. But no, I don't think it's going to be there. Maybe Balfour is just quite a small spot. So I would say the best thing to do is just kind of guess over here. We have these really big ridge of mountains to our north. So I think this could be like the kind of area that we could be in here. And to our south, we obviously do have mountains as well. So that also fits. This could be like this range here. So I think I'll just go for that. Won't look for the road name or anything like that. And it will indeed be the Eastern Cape pole there. Ends up being near the actual places, which is kind of a bit in the greener section more than I thought. So that's a good seed there, 23.4. Let me know how you did in comparison. I'd really like to see your game breakdown. I always read every comment, and I do enjoy seeing how people guess. So do let me know. But that was definitely a good seed. And today is, of course, the Canada special. So we're going to jump into Canada now and see how we go. I'm not the best Canadian player. Neither of them are the best at Russia. And last time we had good luck on Russia. So let's see if we can also pull some good luck for this one. Okay, so this one immediately giving me Eastern vibes. I'm just going to have to talk about vibes a bit more here because I don't know as many particular metas. We do actually have French here, so obviously that is going to be the big clue here. I was actually kind of getting a bit of a New Brunswick vibe off it, so I wonder if we could kind of be in this kind of region here. So let's see if we see anything that could point us one direction or the other. It's quite flat here with some hills to the south, so that could certainly fit for this kind of region. This is kind of where I wanted to go, so I'm even thinking of maybe one of these towns here. Although to the north, we definitely do have more hills, so it can't really be exactly there, although it could be something like that. Yeah, I do kind of want to guess in this kind of region here, in all honesty, although it could be around Quebec City. I mean, like, there are kind of like all kinds of different hills all throughout southern Quebec, and then up onto the peninsula here. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a difficult place to get. Obviously, it says array on the stop sign instead of stop in Quebec. We can vaguely make that out. That helps. There should be another Quebec meta here, I'm assuming, that we could talk about here. Although pole tops I'm not really familiar with on this occasion. And yeah, I mean, Quebec does not use front plates, so keep that in mind. No front plates in Quebec. We can't actually see the front of any cars here, typically. It's classic Geoguessr. You can't see anything that you need to see. But yeah, fortunately we had language, which is even more useful in Quebec. So I'm going to go all the way up there, and it was actually just near Quebec City. Yeah, that was it was kind of either be up here or near Quebec City. Maybe Quebec City made more sense, but that's not a bad start. Okay, next one here, we got double yellow lines, which is interesting. We do indeed have Generation 2 camera here, which is much more common than in the US. Generation 2 is basically like 10 times more common in Canada than it is in the US, so that's a good little matter. This is quite hilly, and it feels quite northern. Okay, this pole here, we have like a nib here, here, and here. That kind of style I would generally associate with Saskatchewan and BC, but Saskatchewan is not a place that really has such mountains as these, so I think we're going to be somewhere in BC, surprisingly. Well, maybe not surprisingly, I don't know. But like it definitely, like this, like the copious birches here make it feel more north. So I was kind of thinking this kind of region here, although I'm not really sure where the Generation 2 coverage runs to. Yeah, I don't really know where this is, but I do think it is BC. So let's see if there's any other metas here. This is a fairly sparse round, but, you know, Canada is fairly sparse in terms of clues. We can see we have front plates here. Front plates are found in British Columbia, they're found in Manitoba, they're found in Ontario, and sometimes in New Brunswick, as well as, like, sometimes maybe in, like, the inside. Maybe you would find some, like, in Newfoundland or something like that. But, yeah, I would say that this is probably BC. I just want to make sure here. I mean, there's really not too much else to say here. These wooden kind of posts on guardrails are very, very Canadian. This, I don't really know what it is. So, I mean, I'm slightly worried that this could be Ontario. Why did I think? Yeah, this pole top doesn't really look Ontario to me, but if I've misread that, then this could be like a weird hilly Ontario. But I'll go for BC here. Let's see if we're right. And it was actually in Manitoba, one of the hilliest Manitobas you'll see. And so that definitely makes sense with the pole top, actually, because I just kind of considered Manitoba not possible there. But yeah, I guess, yeah, you do kind of get these big hills in like near a lake or something. That does make sense. You can occasionally see stuff like that. So we miss out on that occasion, but that's all part of learning, and I'm learning as well. So, you know. That's I can't always explain it correctly. Next one here. Okay, these poles are something, I'm pretty sure. Okay, we have like big rocks next to the road here. That typically reminds you of the Canadian Shield, which is like mostly in Ontario, like past Sudbury to like Thunder Bay. You get a lot of rocks on the side of the road. You can also see it in like northern Quebec as well. So let's see what kind of language we have here. This pole almost feels like a bit Manitoba style, interestingly, though. We could still be in Manitoba. Pelican Harbour, 8 miles away. We've got an area code there, which I started to learn, but I've forgotten them. This kind of looks like a Manitoba pole with the two things drooping down like that. So maybe it is like another Beatty Manitoba here. That is possible. Because this round is fairly nondescript. Yeah, I would say like we're going to be somewhere in like Western Ontario or Manitoba here, and I kind of want to try that. So can we scan to see any Pelican Lake here? What did it say? Pelican Lake? I think it was, right? It was indeed Pelican Harbour. I would have kind of thought like more over this direction if we have that kind of rockiness, but yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this side as well. Obviously, in Canada, you do want to try and get the province if you can. I just don't really see it here, so I think I will trust. What am I going to trust here? These poles? Or, yeah, I think I do want to trust the poles. Although, yeah, Ontario's second option here because of those rocks. Don't think we would have French here on the sign if this was in Quebec, so we don't have to worry about that. But I do wonder about other options here. This could still be, yeah, I would say it's either Manitoba or Ontario here, and it was actually there. Very nice. So I don't think actually Pelican Lake or Pelican Harbour really shows up here, unfortunately. But to get the right province there is pretty good. So yeah, those two ones with like the drooping down things on either side are Manitoba poles. Okay, next one here. We got some like winterish kind of autumn coverage here. Okay, this pole top here with these kind of like rings that have like a insulator on either side. Those ones are typically found in like BC and Ontario, maybe like New Brunswick as well, maybe sometimes in Quebec as well. So definitely can help us rule it out, or some places. And this one will actually, and it's most common in Ontario, and this one will be Ontario because we have this diamond with the green and white there. So that is very useful indeed, and I'm not really sure where I would put this one, to be honest. Generation 4 car. Yeah, I don't really know where exactly this will be. I'll probably just click somewhere near Sudbury, but it could be all the way out near Thunder Bay. But yeah, these kind of wood-only posts on the guardrails is very Canadian, I mean very Ontario. We have a lot of rocks, which is also very Ontario. And yeah, I just don't know where this autumn coverage is, so I'll probably just click around here. Hopefully it's not all the way out here. That would kind of be annoying, but let's find out, shall we? And it was all the way out there. Yeah. I kind of thought it might be, but I wanted to hedge it, and unfortunately, we get beaten by a fairly difficult round there, although we do get the province right, so we're 3 for 4. It's not too bad. Okay, next one here. We have some English, so that immediately makes me think that this is not Quebec, so good. This pole top I'm not familiar with. The little hook on top is definitely like a North American thing, though, so you can keep that in mind. Property marker here, definitely something you see all over Canada. Maybe more common in Ontario in my experience, but yeah. Single yellow line. Normally, if we were in Nova Scotia, this would have a double yellow line, I feel. So probably not Nova Scotia here. I kind of think this is probably just going to be somewhere in Ontario again, although I kind of want to click the similar kind of area as the last one, to be honest. We do have some rocks here, but nothing that I would trust too much. Yeah, that's about it. What about transformers? This transformer is not really usable. If the transformer is facing towards the road, that would indicate British Columbia or New Brunswick. British Columbia over here, New Brunswick. But this one's not facing towards the road. It's facing alongside the wires instead of opposite to them. So yeah, I would say this one definitely saying Ontario to me. Second option might be like... Second option still could be like a weird like Newfie or something like that, but definitely feeling Ontario more here. I think with just the development, it doesn't really feel that cold. So I'm just going to go there. And this time we're more successful. It was just near Ottawa there. So we actually pulled 4 out of 5 provinces, but the one fail was pretty bad. So yeah, I hope you guys did well on that. I actually forgot to check out people's scores. So let's check out people's scores here on the Canada round. And it was actually me in first there. Everyone, what the heck? Well, yeah, it was actually, well, these are all mixed up. Interesting. Let's try that again. Okay, so here we have the actual ones. Canada Grass coming out on top. That's not entirely surprising. I didn't think I would be all the way in the top, but I don't really know what happened there. So let's just, well, obviously Canada Grass actually pretty much nailing it there, probably knowing some place names, and yeah, having a really good seed overall. But let's check out someone who did quite poorly here. Well, not quite poorly. Obviously, they almost got the same score as me. But let's show more a few times there. I think I basically like described everything I wanted to here. But let's just check out number 75, Kowalski, good friend of the channel. And so Kowalski nailed the Quebec, but everything else was a bit more of a struggle. Definitely the British Columbia I agreed with, but then yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think there's too much else to say, but I want to go back here and check out how people did, see where I placed actually on this one. Not that this is a competitive series. It shouldn't really all be about the fun of it and learning. But yeah, I did manage 5th there, which is pretty good. So let's check out someone who got, a bit lower here. So I'll click the show more button a few times. In the meantime, while I do that, if you could like and subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Do like the video. And one more click here, and let's see what we've got here. Number 125 got 17k points. That seems about right. So the Peru is the tricycles. I would say they're not too common in Bolivia. The Argentina one here, I think we did have like those black number plates on that round. So you would not see those in Chile. Chile uses white number plates. As for the Chile, you kind of got them the wrong way around here. But the Chile uses all white road lines. You would see that quite rarely in Argentina, especially with the single white line. It's quite uncommon. Moving over here, the South Africa was a good guess. Like, that definitely makes sense, although you have to kind of know your pole tops for that one, I feel. And then the Taiwan was obviously a good guess as well. So that pretty much concludes it, guys. Learn your South America. Keep on grinding. It takes a while to learn South America at the start, but it's definitely worth it. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching the video all the way to the end. Hope you guys are going well, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, of course. Till next time, goodbye.